The best way to price your house in 2025 is not hiring an agent to do it for you. And I'm not saying that because I hate agents. In fact, I am one. I'm married to one and I'm friends with a bunch of them. I'm saying it because homeowners who price their homes using actual data often get way more accurate results than sellers who trust whatever story an agent needs to tell them in order to get them to like them enough to earn the listing.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
Let me explain what I mean. When I was actively selling houses, I watched this pattern constantly. I'd meet with sellers, I'd show them real market data, and I would tell them what their house is worth. For example, let's say $475,000. Then they'd meet with another agent who'd promise 525. Not because my data was wrong, actually, I was right on the money, but because many agents will tell homeowners whatever they want to hear in order to get the deal. So, on the occasions where homeowners would listen to their hearts instead of their brains, and they listed with the agent who was overpromising, I would watch as that house would sit on the market for months before finally selling below the price I originally suggested. The agent CMA process has evolved into some really elaborate theater. And they disappear for 3 days to create mystery.
Yeah. I'm Batman.
They return with thick documents to imply complexity, and they use industry jargon to sound sophisticated. But when you strip away all of the theater, do you know what's left? It's basically fourth grade math and free data anybody can access. I mean, if this is all you're getting for them charging you $31,000 to use a calculator and a printer, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, here's their proprietary process exposed. Step one, they log into the MLS and download recent sales. Step two, they pick 5 or 6 that roughly match your house. Step three, they adjust values based on gut feeling and the questionably ethical figure of your desired listing price. Step four, they dress it up with charts to look like it's scientific. That revolutionary algorithm they mentioned, it's literally Excel formulas my 12-year-old could build. When I was a young Marine, it was drilled into my head that complexity is the enemy of execution. And it seems that in real estate, these agents learn the opposite, that complexity justifies commission. So they take simple, comparable analysis and wrap it in unnecessary complication. But pricing houses is not rocket scientist. It's pattern recognition and it's basic arithmetic that you can master faster than learning how to binge eat movie popcorn. Let's destroy the CMA mystery in 15 minutes together. Minutes 1 through 5 is data gathering. Open up Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com in 3 different browser tabs. Search your address, filter for sold homes only in the last 6 months within a quarter mile, all in the similar sizes, and download everything onto a spreadsheet. Don't get fancy, just get the data. If an average real estate agent can do this hungover on a Tuesday, then you can definitely do this too. Minutes 6 through 10 is intelligent filtering. So delete the distressed sales. You'll spot them by looking at how many days they spent on market. If it's more than 180, or if you see a lot of price drops exceeding 10% or more, they should not make the cut. And then we remove the outlier, like that mansion that sold for double everything on the end of the block, or the fire damage special that was kind of given away. You don't want to include those in your calculations. You're looking for normal sales to normal buyers. This hopefully leaves you with about 5 to 8 solid comps. If not, you can either increase the radius from your home that you're searching in, or you can increase the time window to 12 months from 6. But this is your market reality. And now that we have that, minutes 11 through 13 are mathematical honesty. You could either use my free comps calculator linked in the description below, or just use your math skills from 4th grade to calculate the price per square foot for each comp. And then you average them out, multiply them by your square footage, and now you have a good baseline for your home. And then simply adjust with the realities of your home. If you've had your kitchen updated in the last 5 years, add about 6%. If it's original from the 80s, subtract maybe 4%. If it's a new roof, add 2%. HVAC over 15 years, subtract 3%, so on and so forth. And don't overthink this, and don't hesitate to make local adjustments to those percentage recommendations, because they're rules of thumb, they're not gospel.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
These percentages actually come from national appraisal standards. So it's not your local association coming up with these. So there can be local variations. Now we're in minutes 14 and 15, which we're going to call strategic positioning. Your math shows 490. Great. Now let's check the active competition. If there's 5 similar homes out there listed at 490, you would then price at 475 to take advantage of price bracketing. We cover that thoroughly in our course, and we don't have a lot of time for it here. But let me just say, it's the surest way to trigger a bidding war for your property and get you well above the 490 that your home is actually valued at. And there we have it, your pricing strategy. Agents pretend this is complex, but it's really nothing more than supply and demand and a little bit of math that a 4th grader understands. No, legit. We have a 4th grader and she totally gets how all this works. Now let's talk about the data errors because they do happen more than you think.
Dovai no provai. Trust but verify.
Sometimes Zillow will show incorrect sale prices, or the square footage is wrong, or entire properties get mislabeled. That's why pulling from multiple sources can help catch mistakes. Though honestly, Zillow alone is usually reliable enough for most analysis. The key is to verify anything that looks off. If a comp seems way too high or way too low for the neighborhood, double check it.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Common sense beats triple platform paranoia every time. And here's something else that agents will never tell you about CMAs. The worst ones, well, they're working backwards from the price that they think you want to get for your home. If they think you want 500, they're going to find comps to justify 500. If they sense that you'd be fine at 450, suddenly those same comps justify 450. It's confirmation bias dressed up as analysis. And your 15-minute method has no agenda except for truth.
Answers. I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
And that's what I love about it. One of the most classic manipulation moves I've seen repeatedly in this space is the market adjustment add-on. An agent will show solid comps averaging 470, but then they'll add, 10% for market momentum or seasonal factors without any real supporting data, but it's all designed to make the seller feel good about this agent. And then when they're pressed, they'll mention proprietary indicators or experience-based projections.
Inconceivable! You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
But when you actually pull month-over-month sales data, half the time the market is flat or even slowing. These adjustments are often just creative ways to reach whatever price that agent thinks will get the listing. The speed advantage changes everything.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Agents take 3 days because they're juggling multiple clients and they're creating theater and also taking care of a family, very likely. You take 15 minutes because you're focused on one house, yours. While they're designing cover pages, you're analyzing data. While they're crafting narratives, you're calculating reality. Speed plus focus beats theatrical complexity any day of the week. The comparables calculator I mentioned earlier automates these calculations and helps avoid common mistakes. But honestly, notebook paper works just fine too. The magic isn't in the fancy tools. It's in systematic honesty. Agents often complicate the process because complexity helps justify their value. You can keep it simple because you're just looking for truth. 15 minutes of honest math beats 3 days of kabuki theater. Now, once you know how to run your own analysis, you can update it whenever you want. If you see a new house hit the market, run it again. If you notice several price reductions in your area, maybe update your numbers. This flexibility is something that you don't get when an agent hands you a CMA and then disappears. You can adapt to market changes in real time instead of relying on a snapshot from 3 weeks ago. The psychological shift matters. When you understand pricing, you can't be manipulated. You walk into any conversation knowing your home's real value. You recognize when someone is inflating the numbers to win your business. You make decisions based on data instead of whoever tells you the most compelling story. That confidence alone is more than worth the 15 minutes it takes to learn this. Here's your final reality check. Agents aren't pricing scientists. They're salespeople with MLS access and time on their hands to open doors. Unfortunately, their elaborate CMAs are increasingly becoming marketing documents designed to impress and persuade instead of provide scientific analysis designed to inform. Your 15-minute method cuts through the theater to find mathematical reality because When you're selling your biggest asset, you need arithmetic, not artwork.